What if I told you that your morning cereal, your afternoon soda, and your evening snack are all filled with chemicals that Europe has banned for being too dangerous for human consumption? While Europeans shop their grocery aisles with confidence, Americans are unknowingly participating in the world's largest uncontrolled food experiment. Every single day, millions of Americans consume ingredients that have been outlawed across the European Union, the United Kingdom, and dozens of other countries. We're talking about petroleum-derived dyes in your candy, flame-retardant chemicals in your sports drinks, and growth hormones in your milk that make European regulators break out in cold sweats. The land of the free has become the land of the free-range chemicals, where corporate profits matter more than public health, and the FDA operates like it's still 1955. While Europe asks, "Is this safe for our citizens?" America asks, "Is this profitable for our corporations?" And the answer is always yes, at least to the second question. From rainbow-colored breakfast cereals that would be illegal in London to bread additives that Europe classifies as carcinogens, American food companies have turned our grocery stores into chemistry labs disguised as convenience. The most shocking part? Most Americans have no idea they're guinea pigs in this massive experiment. Drop a comment below if you've ever wondered why American food tastes different when you travel abroad. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more food truths they don't want you to know. Let's start with something you probably ate for breakfast this morning. Those colorful cereals and vibrant sports drinks that make European food regulators lose their appetite. That vibrant rainbow in your Skittles isn't just sugar and fruit flavoring. It's a collection of petroleum-derived chemicals that have been banned across Europe for over a decade. Red 40, Yellow 5, Blue 1. These aren't cute nicknames for natural ingredients. They're industrial dyes originally created for textiles and plastics that somehow ended up in your breakfast cereal. Europe banned these artificial food dyes after multiple studies linked them to hyperactivity in children, behavioral problems, and potential cancer risks. But in America, we just slap a warning label on some products and keep the party going. Lucky Charms, Fruity Pebbles, Gatorade, even your favorite energy drinks are packed with these chemical rainbows. A former food scientist at a major cereal company admitted in a leaked memo that they knew about the European bans as early as 2008, but continued using the dyes because, quote, "American consumers associate bright colors with fun and flavor." Translation: "We'll keep poisoning kids as long as it sells boxes." One viral TikTok video showed the difference between American and European Fanta. The American version glowed like radioactive waste, while the European version looked like actual orange juice. The comments were brutal. One person wrote, "Our Fanta looks like it could power a car." Another said, "Europe gets fruit juice. We get liquid highlighter." But here's where it gets really disturbing. These dyes don't just make your food colorful. They accumulate in your system over time. Red 40 has been linked to behavioral issues so severe that the United Kingdom requires warning labels stating the product may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. Meanwhile, American parents wonder why their kids bounce off the walls after a bowl of rainbow cereal. Food industry inspection records show that many manufacturers actually produce two versions of the same product, one with natural coloring for European markets and one with artificial dyes for Americans. It's not that they can't make food without these chemicals, it's that they choose not to because we're apparently fine with being lab rats. The kicker? These dyes serve absolutely no nutritional purpose. They don't preserve food, they don't enhance flavor, they just make everything look like it belongs in a children's paint set. European kids somehow manage to enjoy their snacks without consuming liquid petrochemicals, but American food companies insist we need our poison to come in rainbow colors. And if you think artificial dyes are bad, wait until you hear about the flame-retardant chemical that's been floating in your favorite citrus soda for decades. The same chemical used to prevent your couch from catching fire is floating in your Mountain Dew. And somehow, that's perfectly legal in America. Brominated vegetable oil, or BVO, is what gives citrus sodas their cloudy appearance and keeps the flavoring from separating. It's also a flame retardant that Europe banned in food back in 1997. When you crack open a Mountain Dew, you expect citrus refreshment, maybe a caffeine buzz. What you don't expect is to be drinking the same bromine compound that furniture manufacturers spray on foam cushions to meet fire safety codes. But that's exactly what's happening, and PepsiCo kept it quiet for decades. A former beverage chemist who worked for a major soda company revealed that BVO was chosen not because it was safe, but because it was cheap and effective at creating that signature cloudy look consumers expected. Quote, "We knew it wasn't ideal, but it solved a visual problem and nobody was asking questions. Nobody, except European health officials, apparently." The European Food Safety Authority didn't mess around when they reviewed BVO. Their conclusion was swift and brutal. This chemical has no business being in food, period. Studies showed it could accumulate in fatty tissues, potentially causing skin lesions, memory loss, and nerve disorders. Europe said absolutely not. America said, "How much are we talking per gallon?" One customer posted a side-by-side comparison of American Fresca versus European Fanta Orange. The American version had that familiar, cloudy glow, while the European drink was clear and actually looked like something you'd want to put in your body. The caption read, "One of these looks like soda, the other looks like furniture polish. 300,000 likes and counting." Here's the truly maddening part. BVO isn't even necessary. Natural alternatives exist, and many companies have already switched. But some major brands held on to BVO for years after the health concerns became public knowledge. Mountain Dew finally announced they were removing it in 2014, then quietly kept using it in some products. Customer trust? Apparently, less important than production costs. The health effects aren't theoretical. Emergency room doctors have reported cases of bromine poisoning in people who consumed large amounts of BVO-containing sodas. Symptoms include fatigue, memory loss, skin problems, and nerve issues. One case study documented a man who developed severe skin lesions after drinking 2 liters of citrus soda daily. His doctor's diagnosis: bromism, chemical poisoning from a soft drink. So the next time someone tells you American food regulations are the strictest in the world, remind them we've been putting flame retardant in beverages while Europe moved on to actual food ingredients decades ago. But if fire retardant soda sounds bad, wait until you hear what American dairy farmers inject into cows to boost milk production and why Europe wants nothing to do with the results. American cows produce 30% more milk than their European counterparts, but it's not because they're happier. It's because they're pumped full of synthetic hormones that the entire European Union has banned since 1989. Welcome to the world of recombinant bovine growth hormone, or RBST, where bigger profits matter more than what's actually safe to drink. European dairy farmers were horrified when they learned about American milk production methods. One German dairy cooperative leader called it turning cows into milk machines with chemistry. Meanwhile, American dairy lobbies insisted the hormones were perfectly safe, while quietly fighting to prevent labeling requirements that would let consumers know what they're actually drinking. Here's what they don't tell you. RBST doesn't just increase milk production, it increases something else too. Insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1, shows up in higher concentrations in hormone-treated milk. European health authorities took one look at IGF-1 levels and said, absolutely not. Studies suggested potential links to certain cancers and early puberty in children. America's response? Crickets. A former FDA scientist who worked on the RBST approval process went public with disturbing revelations. Quote, "We were under tremendous pressure to approve this hormone. The data showing potential health risks were downplayed or dismissed. I've never felt comfortable with what we allowed into the food supply." The scientist requested anonymity, fearing industry retaliation. One viral social media post compared American milk to European milk under a microscope. The hormone-treated American sample showed noticeably higher bacteria counts and different protein structures. The post exploded with over 2 million views. Comments ranged from shock to disgust. One person wrote, "No wonder European kids visiting America always get stomach problems." Another said, "We're literally drinking science experiments." The dairy industry fought back with massive PR campaigns claiming their milk was identical to natural milk. But leaked internal documents revealed they knew better. One memo from a major dairy producer stated, "Consumer awareness of RBST could significantly impact sales. Recommend avoiding any mention in marketing materials." Translation: if people knew what was really in their milk, they'd stop buying it. Customer complaints flooded social media from Americans visiting Europe who noticed their usual digestive issues disappeared when drinking European milk. One travel blogger documented her experience. "I'm lactose intolerant in America but can drink milk freely in France. Turns out I'm not intolerant to milk. I'm intolerant to whatever they put in American milk." The most disturbing part? Many American dairy companies quietly removed RBST from their products after consumer pressure, proving they never needed it in the first place. They just needed bigger profits, and were willing to use American families as test subjects to get them. But if hormone-injected milk sounds concerning, wait until you discover how American poultry gets its signature clean look, and why Europe considers it a biohazard. In Europe, if you want to disinfect your chicken, you cook it properly. In America, we just dunk it in chlorine and call it food safety. While European poultry farms focus on preventing contamination through better hygiene and living conditions, American producers take the lazy route, raise chickens in filthy conditions, then bleach wash the problems away. Chlorinated chicken has been banned across Europe since 1997, not because chlorine itself is necessarily dangerous in small amounts, but because of what it represents. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. The chlorine wash masks deeper problems in the production process that Europe simply won't tolerate. A former USDA poultry inspector blew the whistle on what really happens in American processing plants. Quote, "The chlorine bath became an excuse for everything. Dirty birds, contaminated equipment, rushed processing. It didn't matter because everything got the chemical wash at the end. We were treating symptoms instead of preventing disease." European officials visited American chicken processing facilities and came away horrified. Their report described conditions that would shut down European plants immediately: overcrowded birds, inadequate cleaning protocols, and processing lines moving so fast that proper inspection was impossible. The solution? More chlorine. One viral video compared European chicken farming to American operations. European chickens had space to move, cleaner living conditions, and slower processing times. American chickens lived in warehouse-style buildings packed so tightly they could barely move, then got speed processed through chemical baths. The comment section was brutal. European chickens live better lives than most Americans. Here's the kicker. The chlorine wash doesn't even eliminate all the bacteria. Studies found that chlorinated chicken still tested positive for Salmonella and Campylobacter, just at slightly lower levels. It's like spraying air freshener in a dirty bathroom. Sure, it smells better, but you're still standing in filth. American chicken producers argue the chlorine wash is just one part of their safety system, but leaked industry documents tell a different story. Internal memos revealed that plants increased chlorine concentrations when they knew inspection visits were scheduled, essentially admitting they rely on chemicals to pass safety tests rather than maintaining consistently clean operations. The taste difference is unmistakable. Americans visiting Europe consistently report that European chicken actually tastes like chicken, not the bland, slightly chemical-tinged meat they're used to. One food blogger wrote, "I didn't realize American chicken had a weird aftertaste until I ate real chicken in Italy. Now I can't unsee or untaste the difference." European negotiators have repeatedly stated that American chicken will never be allowed in their markets until production methods change fundamentally. Their message is clear: clean up your act first, then we'll talk. America's response has been to double down on chlorine and complain about trade barriers. But if chlorine-washed chicken sounds unappetizing, prepare yourself for the sweetener that's in practically everything Americans eat: despite being restricted or banned in dozens of countries worldwide. Walk down any American grocery aisle and try to find processed food without high fructose corn syrup. You'll have better luck finding a unicorn, and the unicorn would probably be healthier to eat. This liquid sugar substitute is in everything from bread to barbecue sauce, and while Europe heavily restricts it, America treats it like a food group. Here's what most people don't know. High fructose corn syrup isn't just another sweetener. Your body processes it completely differently than regular sugar, bypassing normal satiety signals and going straight to your liver for processing. It's like having a sugar highway that skips all the traffic lights your body uses to say, enough. European countries limit high fructose corn syrup through import quotas and taxes because studies linked it to obesity, diabetes, and fatty liver disease. But in America, government corn subsidies make it cheaper than actual sugar, so manufacturers dump it into everything. Your body pays the price, but corporate profits stay sweet. A former food scientist at a major beverage company revealed the industry's dirty secret. Quote, "We knew high fructose corn syrup made people crave more of our products. It doesn't trigger the same fullness response as regular sugar, so consumers keep drinking and eating without feeling satisfied. It was a goldmine for sales, a nightmare for public health." One nutrition researcher conducted a shocking experiment comparing American soda to Mexican Coca-Cola, which uses cane sugar instead of corn syrup. Test subjects consistently reported feeling more satisfied and drinking less of the Mexican version. The American version left them wanting more, triggering what researchers called liquid candy addiction syndrome. The most disturbing part? High fructose corn syrup shows up in products you'd never expect. Bread, crackers, salad dressing, yogurt, even items labeled as healthy or natural. One viral TikTok showed a woman reading ingredients on supposedly healthy granola bars. Every single brand contained high fructose corn syrup. Her reaction said it all. We're being poisoned by stealth. European tourists visiting America often report feeling sluggish and experiencing sugar crashes they never get at home. One British travel blogger documented her experience, "Day 3 in America, and I feel like I'm in a constant sugar coma. Everything tastes artificially sweet, and I'm craving more food even after eating full meals." Here's what's really at stake: your metabolism. Studies show people who consume high amounts of high fructose corn syrup develop insulin resistance faster than those eating equivalent amounts of regular sugar. You're literally training your body to become diabetic, one processed snack at a time. Food companies know exactly what they're doing. Internal documents from major manufacturers show they specifically formulated products with high fructose corn syrup to increase consumption and brand loyalty. They're not just selling food, they're selling addiction disguised as convenience. But if liquid sugar in everything seems bad, wait until you hear about the bread additive that Europe classifies as a potential carcinogen, yet American bakeries use it to make your sandwich buns perfectly fluffy. The fluffy, perfectly white bread that America loves gets its texture from the same chemical compound used in permanent wave solutions. Your sandwich might be giving you more than just carbs. Potassium bromate, banned in Europe, Canada, and China as a potential carcinogen, is still legally added to American flour to make bread rise higher and look more appealing. Here's the terrifying part. Potassium bromate is supposed to break down completely during baking, leaving no residue in the final product. But here's what most people don't know. It doesn't always work that way. When bread is underbaked, rushed through production, or processed at lower temperatures, bromate residues remain. You're essentially playing Russian roulette with your morning toast. European food safety officials didn't take any chances. Their research showed that even small amounts of potassium bromate could cause kidney damage, nervous system problems, and potentially increase cancer risk. Their verdict was swift: ban it completely. American regulators took a different approach, cross their fingers and hope bakers follow proper procedures. A former quality control manager at a major commercial bakery blew the whistle on industry practices. Quote, We were under constant pressure to speed up production lines. Bread that should bake for 25 minutes got pulled at 20 to meet quotas. Nobody talked about bromate residues because testing was expensive and slowed everything down. Independent lab tests on popular American bread brands found detectable bromate levels in several samples, including major grocery store chains and fast food burger buns. One investigation revealed that Wonder Bread, Pepperidge Farm, and several pizza dough manufacturers were using bromated flour while advertising their products as wholesome and family-friendly. Consumer complaints started surfacing on social media from people experiencing unexplained digestive issues that disappeared when they switched to European-style breads or organic alternatives. One viral post from a mother documented her family's health journey. Switched to bromate-free bread, and my kids' stomach problems vanished. Turns out it wasn't gluten intolerance. It was chemical intolerance. The most infuriating part? Safer alternatives exist and work just as well. Ascorbic acid, vitamin C, can achieve similar results without the cancer risk. Many artisanal bakeries and organic brands already use these alternatives, but big commercial bakeries stick with bromate because it's cheaper, and they're legally allowed to poison customers for profit. Health inspection records from multiple states show repeated violations at commercial bakeries using bromated flour, improper baking times, inadequate temperature monitoring, and failure to test for residue levels. One FDA inspection report noted that a facility was consistently underbaking products to increase daily output, potentially leaving dangerous bromate levels in thousands of loaves. Your daily sandwich could be a slow-motion health disaster, and the worst part is you'd never know until years later when the damage becomes obvious. European families eat bread without worrying about carcinogens, while American families unknowingly participate in a decades-long experiment. But if cancer-linked bread seems alarming, brace yourself for the grand finale, the heart-destroying fats that Europe banned. But American food companies still sneak into products you probably have in your kitchen right now. Europe banned artificial trans fats in 2021, but American shelves are still packed with margarines and baked goods that contain these cardiovascular time bombs. These aren't just bad fats, they're Frankenstein fats, created in laboratories by pumping hydrogen gas through vegetable oils until they become solid at room temperature. Your heart doesn't know how to process them. Here's what makes artificial trans fats so sinister. They don't just raise your bad cholesterol, they actively destroy your good cholesterol while creating inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. It's like hiring an arsonist to be your fire chief. European health officials called them the most harmful fats in the food supply and gave manufacturers no choice: remove them or face criminal penalties. America took a different approach. The FDA finally acknowledged trans fats weren't safe in 2015, but gave companies 3 years to phase them out, with countless extensions and loopholes. Many manufacturers simply reformulated their products to contain just under the legal reporting threshold, technically allowing them to label products as zero trans fats while still poisoning consumers. A former food chemist at a major snack company revealed the industry's deception. Quote, "We knew trans fats were killing people, but they gave our products incredible shelf life and that perfect crispy texture consumers loved. Instead of removing them completely, we just reduced amounts to stay under FDA reporting requirements. Legally compliant, morally bankrupt." One cardiologist went viral after posting about a patient who suffered a massive heart attack at 35 with no family history of heart disease. The only risk factor? A diet heavy in packaged baked goods containing hidden trans fats. Quote, "This patient's arteries looked like they belonged to someone 20 years older. Trans fats don't just contribute to heart disease, they accelerate it like rocket fuel." The betrayal runs deeper than health risks. Food companies spent decades marketing trans fat products as healthier alternatives to butter and lard. Margarine was sold as heart-healthy, packaged cookies were promoted as better than homemade, all while these products were literally hardening arteries and shortening lifespans. It's the biggest nutritional lie ever told to the American public. Even today, careful label readers can still find partially hydrogenated oils lurking in American products. Certain margarines, packaged pastries, frozen pizza crusts, and even some coffee creamers. European versions of identical products use healthier alternatives, proving these toxic fats were never necessary, just profitable. Consumer advocacy groups have documented how major food corporations fought trans fat bans for decades, funding fake research and lobbying against public health measures. Internal documents revealed companies knew about cardiovascular dangers as early as the 1990s, but prioritized profits over preventing heart attacks. The human cost is staggering. Health economists estimate that artificial trans fats contributed to over 100,000 premature deaths annually before partial restrictions began. That's families destroyed, lives cut short, all so corporations could save pennies on production costs and extend shelf life. This is what American food freedom really looks like. The freedom to be slowly poisoned by chemicals banned everywhere else, while being told it's for your own good. So, here we are, back where we started, walking through an American grocery store that's really a chemistry lab, disguised as a food market. Except now you know what those bright colors, fluffy textures, and impossibly long shelf lives actually cost. While Europeans shop with confidence, Americans have been unknowingly consuming a cocktail of banned substances for decades. The pattern is always the same. European health officials ask, "Is this safe for our citizens?" American regulators ask, "How much profit will this generate?" And every single time, corporate interests win while public health loses. We're not customers. We're test subjects in the world's largest uncontrolled food experiment. Petroleum-derived dyes that cause hyperactivity in children, flame retardants in our sodas, growth hormones in our milk, chlorine-washed chicken, addictive corn syrup in everything, cancer-linked bread additives, heart-destroying trans fats, 7 categories of chemicals that Europe said absolutely not to, while America said absolutely yes to corporate profits. The most infuriating part isn't just that these chemicals exist in our food supply, it's that safer alternatives exist and work just as well. European food companies prove it every day. American corporations could switch tomorrow if they wanted to. They just don't want to because poisoning people is more profitable than protecting them. This isn't about being anti-American or pro-European. This is about basic human dignity and the right to eat food that won't slowly kill you. Other countries protect their citizens from dangerous food additives. America protects corporate profits from dangerous regulations. The difference is literally life and death. Knowledge is power, and now you have it. You can't unsee what's really in your food, and you shouldn't have to. The truth isn't always on the menu, but at least now you know what questions to ask. If this opened your eyes to what's really on your plate, smash that like button, subscribe for more food truths they don't want you to know, and drop a comment telling us which banned ingredient shocked you the most. Share this with someone who still thinks American food regulations are the strictest in the world. Because the only thing more dangerous than eating poison is eating poison without knowing it.